One of the aspects of TV production in World Class that made it so unique were the personality profiles and vignettes. Talk about your memories producing and putting those together. We talked about some of the ones, David Von Erich running into the sunset, and Precious and Jimmy Garvin. What other ones that really stood out that you remember?
We had Sunshine and Jimmy Garvin lost a bout, and they had to come out and
shovel the crap
and move the hay and do all that stuff. God, we did so many of those things. I can't remember all of them. But what?
I was going to ask you, do you remember when Kamala was going to shove you down?
Oh, Kamala. Yeah, that was dear old Kamala from Birmingham, Alabama, I think.
Yeah.
We played the part really well. We went out to the Trinity River in Dallas, and he was supposed to be out there, and we were kind of a safari or something to go out and see how Kamala lived out in the wild. And of course, so I'm standing there, and he's supposed to look at me and make some noise or something, and he trips and touches me, and I fall over in the weeds.
That's awesome.
And I said, leave it in. That's great.
Yeah.
So Kamala, the last time I saw him was 15, 20 years ago. He comes up and he's, Bill, I didn't mean to push you down. I said, well, you didn't hurt me. That was all right. Of course, the Freebirds was the great stuff that we had too.
In the bar?
In the bar, out on the parking lot, and in a drive-in theater. They invited me out to lunch. I said, you guys are eating lunch? Yeah. Did you invite, you're going to buy my lunch? No. What did you think that? Well, you invited me. No.
It was great stuff.
Yeah.
What made the Freebirds Von Erichs feud work so well?
I think the quality of those three guys, that the Freebirds, and there was enough of drama and potential big danger. It was a perfect fit because the Von Erichs are certainly the great guys. The
biggest baby faces out there.
The baby faces of all time. If the Cowboys were America's team, they were America's boys. And then here are the Freebirds. It's like they've been let out of some institution. And they're just out of control, out of whack. It was like the comedy teams back, doing all their slapstick. And I think they must have seen some of that because, they would just do all the craziest things in the world.
Michael Hayes, probably one of the best talkers on the mic.
Isn't he? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and Michael Hayes led that team. And, but if you had a discussion between the Von Erichs and Michael, he's going to win. I mean, they're going to argue a little bit, but they don't know how to argue. They're the Von Erichs. They don't have to put up with that kind of stuff.
Was there any jealousy among other guys in that company as far as trying to get to the top babyface spot of the company because the Von Erichs were always there and they didn't want anybody else to?
That's right. Yeah, no, that was well known. That was.
You're not going to take their spot.
No, and they've got to win. They've got to come out on top. Well, one day Kevin was talking about, what are we going to do to make this thing go better? What do we, you had all these bouts that end in non-decision, and all, and everybody. And I said, Kevin, let me ask you something. How about one day you lose a bout to somebody? What? Lose? I said, yeah, like football or baseball or any other sport, you lose. Just out lose. And then you get the chance to come back rather than these timeouts that they give every time. I said, a later promotion with somebody else down there, that was what we had all the time. Nobody ever won, nobody ever lost. And I said, this is ridiculous. You can't have a show like this. It was never successful, but
was that USWA when they came down there? Is that what you're talking about?
No, it wasn't. It was some local production.
Oh, okay. Going back to the Von Erichs, memories of the Von Erichs shaving the heads of Gino Hernandez and Chris Adams.
One of the great things at the Cotton Bowl, of all the places we filled up, the Cotton Bowl, and I've watched that. We have some of those tapes at home. My son's found some, and that was a beauty, wasn't it? That was so much.
What was it like in Dallas during the height of the World Class Frenzy? I mean, the Von Erichs were pretty much, they owned the town, right?
They owned the town, and wrestling was, well, it got to be, as I was mentioning, in poor old Sportatorium. We had FM stations coming out there to broadcast live from the Sportatorium. We had college kids prepped. You knew they were college kids, the way they dressed, coming out and enjoying the show. They just captured the town, and I've never thought of myself as a celebrity. I'm a broadcaster. I did my job. I hope it was good. But it got to the point where my daughter, who was about 12 or 13 and 14 something, and I and my wife would go out, drive somewhere, and we'd stop at a convenience store on the road, and somebody would say, "Hey, there's Bill Mercer," and they'd come out and have to give autographs,
right?
Which I didn't mind. I mean, that was fine. I didn't think about it. We got a big steakhouse down in Waco on the way to Austin that time. Just turned the place upside down because I was there, and my daughter finally got fed up and said, "Can't we go someplace that nobody knows you and ask you for your autograph?" But I'm the least of the bunch, I'm the announcer, and at no telling what the other kids, what they had to put up with all the time.
What was the craziest story you heard about interaction between the wrestlers and the fans back then?
Oh. Craziest? I don't know.
Did you ever have any crazy interactions with any of the fans, or?
No, they all kind of respected me, I think, because I was the broadcaster. Occasionally, Killer Carl Cox was my really good friend.
Yep.
And Killer could walk into an auditorium and cause mayhem immediately, just looking around. And they were the kind of guys that would get in trouble because some people hated him so badly. There was this one, Killer and I laughed about this one. He said, "This is the greatest one I ever had." I'm going down the aisle of the Sportatorium, and this young lady sitting there with a little girl in her lap, and she has a thing of beer. And I'm walking along and doing my usual bit. And all of a sudden, I notice that she hands the baby to the guy next to her, it must have been the father, stands up and throws the beer in my face. Well, immediately she's arrested by the security. And he said, "Now, what are we going to do? We've got a young woman with a baby, and she threw beer in my face. And they want to take her out, but the baby's there, and her husband just sat there like, it got worked out, but she couldn't drink beer there anymore or something."
Memories working with Mark Lawrence?
Oh, he was fine. He's a good guy, and he worked hard at that job. And he had a lot of friends in the wrestling community, and they tell you another story of this.
Yeah.
Killer Carl Cox. I said we were great friends. And his dad lived in Baltimore. And when Don Drysdale and I did the Texas Rangers, we went to Baltimore. And one of the first time we went up there. So we're in the booth, and we're getting ready for the broadcast. Well, we're in the broadcast. And this guy opens the door, and he says, Mr. Mercer. So I turned my mic off. Yeah. There is this awful-looking guy who says he's a friend of yours. I said, well, who is it? He's Killer Carl Cox, he said. And I said, yeah, he's a great friend of mine, but he looks dangerous. I said, no, he's not. No, he's not in the ring. He's not dangerous. So bring him on up. So we put him on the air with Don and I. He said, I just came up here because my dad's here, and I just wanted to come up and get you, Mercer.
That's awesome. Was there ever a moment where you thought the crowd heat was too much when you were at ringside? Did you ever worry for your own safety at all?
I thought there was a chance sometimes that they would, that things could get out of hand. But, they had pretty good security there.
Yeah.
And I think somebody would lose it, and they could take care of that. I don't know if something really bad had happened and the people had gone crazy. It could have been rough. Yeah.
Any funny stories or interactions with the wrestlers while at ringside while they were calling matches? Anybody try to rib you?
Oh, all the time. They were always getting me. Lord Alfred Hayes, good friend of mine. And I inadvertently caused a divorce in his family. When he was leaving the area out of world class, and he said, and I knew his wife. We'd all been out and we played tennis. His wife played tennis, and tennis is a dangerous game, by the way. And so he said, I want you to be sure to take care of my wife while I'm gone. Be sure that she goes out and plays tennis and all that. And I said, okay. Yeah, well, I said, I'll tell you, whenever we go out and play doubles or something, I'll take her with us. So one day we needed another partner, for her. And this young man at the station who was not, I guess he was getting a divorce. Really good looking guy. And I said, why don't you come out and get away from the stress, and we'll play doubles and have some food. I'm like, oh, that'd be great. Was a mistake. They just locked in.
Right.
And they've been married for years now, a long, long time. But anyway, so Lord Alfred Hayes comes back for one of those cameo things.
Right.
And I don't know if he knows how that his wife got with this other guy. Well, I don't know if he knows that I was I wasn't trying to make a deal there, but we were just going to play tennis. But he comes back, and we visit, and so he's in the ring, and they fight around, and he is knocked over through the ropes. I'm sitting at a table, and right at the apron. And so they knock Lord Alfred Hayes through the ropes. Well, and they're pushing him, but he is pushing himself down, ends up in my lap, and grabs me in the crotch.
Right.
I got nothing to do but sit there and try to laugh and say, I don't think Lord Alfred Hayes is in good shape.
Watch thousands of exclusive shoot interviews right now on TitleMatchNetwork.com.